Shalom, Ka'ala Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahshai, Ba'Shem Rakal Pradash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, for the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're talking about the chariots of the Lord, and we're going to highlight a recent article that came out that covered some leaked photos that are from 1971. But before we read that article or see some of these images, let's go and read this. This is 2 Chronicles 16:9. For the eyes of Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahshai, run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in the belief of them whose heart is perfect towards him. Herein thou hast done foolishly, therefore from henceforth thou shalt have wars. And the key point here is the first line. You see, this isn't talking about some eyeballs going back and forth in the sky. No, this is actually talking about what the world refers to as UFOs. You see, the Lord, he doesn't come down to earth that often, okay? He has his angels come down here for him and report to him what is going on here. Now, that information gets to him, I'm guessing, almost instantly, if not instantly. But the point being is that the Lord commands the angels to go out and do certain jobs, and they do it. And that includes going back and forth throughout the world to report on what's going on or to do particular jobs. Just like when you read Job 1, when the Lord asked Satan what was Satan doing, and Satan said going up and down in the earth. Right? And we all know that Satan has a job that was given to him by the Lord. Now, from this poster that I created, I've added a couple of scriptures that talk about the chariots, or what the world calls UFOs. So you can see this isn't just some crazy conspiracy theory. No, it is well established that the chariots of fire, right, the irons of mountain, the clouds of heaven, described in the Bible and these scriptures, are actually the UFOs that people refer to today. And if you look at these images here on the bottom, this is more likely, for example, let's take a look at here, where you had the wise men that came to see the birth of the Messiah. The star that they were following was a chariot, right? This is what it more likely looked like. Other things, when you get into historic paintings, you could see that chariots were all throughout history, right? You could see the titles of these images. Right here at the crucifixion of the Messiah, you have these two figures. Check that out. See, so people understood that these things that we see today, going back and forth throughout the land, that even now in this time, Esau is having to admit that they're out there and they do exist, and that they pose a threat to national security, right? But he's not spilling the entire beans. He's just saying now that they actually exist, right? But we're here, us prophets, starting with the apostles on down, we're here to tell you what these balls of light and these little tic-tac shaped projectiles going faster than anything that we've seen that's humanly possible. We're here to tell you what they are. Well, they are the chariots of the Lord. And these chariots, just like in this image, they have been known throughout the course of history of mankind to be the angels. Okay? Now, let's go and get into this article. Like I said, these images that were released come from 1971. So these have been top secret since then, but recently they've been made public. And this is from a website called theblackvault.com. And let's see, let's start here. It says, and I'm just going to read the article so you can see these images. And these images were ultimately taken from a U.S. Navy submarine, which we'll get into in just a bit. So it says, Submarine by Alex Mestreta. It says, this got started when I heard from one of my sources in Europe that some pictures that I might want to take a look at were making the rounds. These turned out to be the pictures that a French paranormal magazine called Top Secret published. They claim that they received them from an anonymous source. That is all they have had said publicly so far. Top Secret source and mine are unrelated. I made connections in the intelligence community in Europe years ago in a project unrelated to UFOs. It was for the Congo's Mokele Mombre project that I was working on. They have always been reliable, but you know how these things go. You never really know. I have used them on information based on Russian UFOs in the past, and they have been very reliable with that. I'm obviously trying to directly get access to Top Secret's original source, so we'll see. By the way, feel free to contact them yourself or anyone that you feel can help. Obviously, I want to stay on point with this and be part of whatever comes out in this case, but the important thing is to get the truth, and the Black Vault name is extremely well respected, and that can very much help. Here's what we know so far. The original anonymous source claims that these issues, right, says 1. The photos were taken on the United States Navy submarine. The location was between Iceland and Jan Mayen Island in the Atlantic Ocean. It says Jan Mayen belongs to Norway and is only inhabited by the Norwegian Meteorological Institute and the Norwegian military. They were taken in March of 1971. The submarine was the Navy USS Tripang SNN 674, and the admiral on board was Dean Reynolds II. Obviously, the next step is to try and locate the Admiral Reynolds if he exists. Now, this is the submarine that they're talking about, right? And to look at just some of its history, I went to Wikipedia, and you can see here, it's a legit, submarine. And again, since these images were taken in 1971, it tells you here. I read kind of like what this submarine's job was, and notice like what it said here. It said basically after it left, went back to New England at the end of this year, I guess. It says back in New England waters for the local operations, Tripang again headed south for further tests. In November 1971, she deployed to conduct independent operations in the North Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so this is basically where they're saying these images were taken over here by Norway. Okay, in the North Atlantic, and that's where the submarine was stationed. So let's get back. The submarine came upon the object by accident, as they were in a region on a routine joint military and scientific expedition. Officer John Klika was the one who initially spotted the object with the periscope. This obviously implies that it wasn't ours, and unfortunately doesn't explain the different objects seen in the pictures. Top Secret claims that on one of the pictures there was some inscriptions. I don't have a version of this, and it is too faint to see on these photographs. Upper left, it says official photograph not to be released, CT. In the bottom right corner, it says SIC, unauthorized disclosure subject, security certificate SSN 674 criminal sanction. I cannot confirm these at the moment, and I don't know if the spelling is certificate is just a reproduction error, since these were revealed in their magazine. This is all I have so far, and I'll keep sending you whatever additional info I have. And it says photo gallery of the high resolution photographs from a magazine. It says on July 13th, I was sent the following photographs via email. These are the original photographs that created the hype about this case, but they supplied me the original scans of the photos, not the magazine. So check this out. These are the photos that Esau took while he was out on the sea. Okay? And remember, the chariots of the Lord, they've been known to go into the oceans. When you deduce what the angels asked Ezra in 2nd Ezra, when the angel had asked Ezra to answer him simple questions, and that if he was to be able to answer him these simple questions, that the angel would then answer Ezra's questions that he was asking him. And one of the questions is basically how many. He asked him basically questions about the ocean, right, and how big it was, and so meaning that these angels know. And how do they know? Well, you're seeing it because angels come in and out of these oceans. Okay, it's not the same to them as it is for us. Okay, so let's go through some of these. Look at that. That's crazy. Check that out. So you see, these are going to be the chariots, right? Or something to this variation is going to be like what the world sees when the Lord returns. Because remember, the Lord, when he comes back, the whole world is going to see him, and along with him are going to be the thousands from heaven, right? That being the angels that are going to accompany him and show him, what's going on. They're going to accompany him and help him to destroy the nations of the world, and also to go around and gather up all the Israelites, right? This is Isaiah 31:5. As birds flying, so will Yahweh Bashem Yashai of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. So when the Lord comes back and to save us Israelites, the 1/3 that the Lord has deemed worthy to go into the next iteration of humanity and to start the kingdom of heaven with, he's going to send the chariots down, and these chariots are going to, like it says, they're going to be flying overhead, and they're going to save us and also defend us from all our enemies that are going to pop up at that time. Okay? So back to these images. Let's go through. That's crazy. This looks like it's an image of it going in. Looks like this is an image of it coming out. Check that out. You see, these chariots, they can take on many different shapes. Because remember, like it tells you in the scriptures that the horses and weapons of Egypt are flesh and not spirit, right? So what do you deduce from this? That the angels and the vehicles that they fly around in, they're spirit, right? It's a different dimensional power that they command and that they use to enter in and out of our dimension. So this is why you get things like this. It's crazy, man. So when this looks like a chamber, right? And what does the scripture says about the Israelites when they're going to be saved, right? This is Isaiah 26:20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation has overpassed. And you see, because when the Lord comes back, he's going to basically save and call up, right? Basically abduct the Israelites, right? Other church doctrines refer to this as the rapture, but see, this is going to be the one and only rapture. There's going to be no second rapture or coming back in 7 years. None of that. That's all man-made doctrine BS. See, but the Lord is going to eventually come back. And when he comes back, he's going to come with the thousands of heaven. So there's going to be thousands of chariots going around the world, picking up and saving the Israelites. And why are they going to be saved in these chariots? Why can't the Lord just, keep us where we're at and just kind of blow up our enemies around us? Well, that's because the Lord's going to blow this entire kingdom up, right? America is on its way out, and it's going to be destroyed. This is why the Bible refers to it as the lake of fire. And the only way to be saved, while being here in America, is to be pulled out of it up into the sky, okay? Even our ancestral folklore for the Aztecas, we know that the end, it says that we're going to be taken up into the air like eagles and saved from the fire by our power, by our God, Quetzalcoatl. Again, and when you look at the Bible, it's the same exact thing, right? That we're going to be called up and saved out of the fiery mess that's going to come here and consume and destroy Babylon the Great, that being America. This is Revelations 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. See that? And that cloud that we're going to be ascending up to, right? Up into heaven. When it says heaven, that just means the sky. Okay? That's not like some ethereal place with clouds and naked babies with harps. Right? That's all just, that again is man-made BS. Right? But the clouds here is talking about these chariots, these UFOs. Okay? These vehicles which the angels are going to use to transport us Israelites to safety. Okay? Up into the atmosphere. And it says, and what else is of note here? It says, and their enemies beheld them. You see, because believe it or not, you as a Negro, Latino, Native American, we have enemies. Okay, and our enemies are all these other nations, and especially these Edomites. And the sad thing is that even 2/3 of our own people, they're our enemies. And why is that? Well, that's because, you see, we represent the truth. We represent a destruction of their reality. Everything that they fought for, that they worked for, that they believed and trusted in, is at stake when we start to talk about what's coming. And a lot of people, due to their cognitive dissonance, would rather believe a convenient lie than an inconvenient truth. And that's the thing about our people. This is why a lot of our people are going to be destroyed, because they can't face reality. They can't come to the notion that they need to drop what they believe is the objective of life here in America or around the world and start to follow the Lord. Because again, that's the truth of the world. That's the true narrative of what's going on. If it wasn't, then why are all the leaders of the world doing the opposite, worshiping the opposite God and doing everything that the Bible says that they would, eventually initiating that mark of the beast and making it mandatory around the entire world? We're already starting to see that get rolled out, or at least the very first iterations of it. Right now, people are taking it by choice. This is Luke 21 and 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And why did the Messiah tell us to look up? Well, because he knew that the way that we were going to be saved is going to be through these chariots. Right? We're going to be looking up, because from space, from the sea, as the Bible refers to it, that's where the Messiah is going to come from. Okay? Just like he was lifted up into a cloud and taken away, he's going to come back the same way. He's going to come back in that UFO. And when he comes back, he's not going to come back as a meek man that can be overpowered. No, he's going to come back in his God form. And he's going to destroy the armies of the world, and especially these Edomites. And in doing so, the angels are going to go around and save up the 1/3 of Israelites. That being the 144,000 plus the 1/3 of Israel. That's 1 out of every 3 Negro, Latino, Native Americans that will wake up to this truth, come back and repent from the ways of their Babylonian lifestyle, and come back to our true heritage, that of being an Israelite, right? A child of God. So either way, Akim, I thought these images were pretty amazing. I wanted to share them with the body, so hopefully you found this edifying. So until next time, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yashai, B'Hashem Rukok Wadash. Shalom.